Decay by John Clare. By Linda Marie Nielsen, Vancouver, B.C. O Poesy is on the wane, For Fancy's visions all unfitting. I hardly knew her face again. Nature herself seems on the flitting. The fields grow old and common things, The grass, the sky, the winds a blowing, And spots where still a beauty clings Are sighing, going, all a going. O Poesy in on the wane, I hardly know her face again. The bank with brambles overspread, And little molehills round about it, Was more to me than laurel shades, With paths of gravel finely clouded, And streaking here and streaking there Through shaven grass, and many a border With rutty lanes had no compare, And heaths were in a richer order. But Poesy is on the wane, I hardly know her face again. I sat beside the pasture stream, When Beauty's self was sitting by, The fields did more than Eden seem, Nor could I tell the reason why. I often drank when not a dry, To pledge her health in draught divine. Smiles made it nectar from the sky, Love turned e'en water into wine. O Poesy is on the wane, I cannot find her face again. The sun those mornings used to find Its clouds were other country mountains, And heaven looked downward on the mind Like groves and rocks and mottled fountains. Those heavens are gone, the mountains grey Turn mint, the sun, a homeless ranger, Pursues alone his naked way, Unnoticed like a very stranger. O Poesy is on the wane, Nor love nor joy is mine again. Love's sun went down without a frown, For very joy it used to grieve us. I often think the west is gone, Ah, cruel time, to undeceive us. The stream it is a common stream, Where we on Sundays used to ramble. The sky hangs o'er a broken dream, The brambles dwindled to a bramble. O Poesy is on the wane, I cannot find her haunts again. Mere withered stalks and fading trees, And pastures spread with hills and rushes, Are all my fading vision sees. Gone, gone are rapture's flooding gushes, When mushrooms they were fairy bowers, Their marble pillars overswelling, And danger paused to pluck the flowers That in their swarthy rings were dwelling. Yes, Poesy is on the wane, Nor joy nor fear is mine again. A Poesy hath passed away, And Fancy's visions undeceive us. The night hath taken the place of day, And why should passing shadows grieve us? I thought the flowers upon the hill Were flowers from Adam's open gardens, But I have had my summer thrills, And I have had my heart's rewardings. So Poesy is on the wane, I hardly know her face again. And friendship it hath burned away, Like to a very ember cooling, A make believe on April day, That sent the simple heart a fooling. Mere jesting in an earnest way, Deceiving on and still deceiving, And hope is but a fancy play, And joy the art of true believing. For Poesy is on the wane, Oh, could I feel her faith again. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Pastoral Fancies by John Clare. By Linda Marie Nielsen, Vancouver, B.C. Sweet pastime, here my mind so entertains, Abiding pleasantness, and heart feeding joys, To meet this blithesome day, these painted plains, These singing maids, and chubby laughing boys, Which haytime and the summer here employs. My rod and line doth all neglected lie, A higher joy my former sport destroys. Nature this day doth bait the hook, and I The glad fish am, and that's to be caught thereby. This silken grass, these pleasant flowers in bloom, Among these tasty molehills that do lie, Like summer cushions for all guests that come, Those little feathered folk that sing and fly Above these trees, in that so gentle sky, Where not a cloud dares soil its heavenly light, And this smooth river softly grieving by, All fill mine eyes with so divine a sight, As makes me sigh that it should ne'er be night. In sooth, methinks the choice I most should prize Were in these meadows of delight to dwell, To share the joyance heaven elsewhere denies, The calmest that doth relish passing well, The quiet conscience that aye bears the bell, And happy musing nature would supply, Leaving no room for troubles to rebel. Here would I think all day, at night would lie, The hay my bed, my coverlid the sky. So would I live, as nature might command, Taking with providence my wholesome meals, Plucking the savoury peascod from the land, Where rustic lad oft dainty dinners steals. For drink, I'd his me where the moss conceals The little spring so chary from the sun, Then lie and listen to the merry peals Of distant bells, all other noises shun, Then court the Muses till the day be done. Here would high joys my lowly choice requisite, For garden plot, I'd choose this flowery lea. Here I in culling nosegays would delight, The lambtoe tuft, the paler culver key, The cricket's mirth were talk enough for me, When talk I needed, and when warm to pray. The little birds my choristers should be, Who wear one suit for worship and for play, And make the whole year long one Sabbath day. A thymy hill should be my cushioned seat, An aged thorn with wild hops intertwined, My bower, where I from noontide might retreat, A hollow oak would shield me from the wind, Or, as might hap, I better shed might find, In gentle spot where fewer paths intrude, The hut of a shepherd swain, with rushes lined. There would I tenant be to solitude, Seeking life's gentlest joys to shun the rude, Bidding a long farewell to every trouble, The envy and the hate of evil men, Feeling cares lessen, happiness redouble, And all I lost as if 'twere found again. Vain life unseen, the past alone known then, No worldly intercourse my mind should have, To lure me backward to its crowded den. Here would I live and die, and only crave The home I choose might also be my grave. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Autumn Robin by John Clare. Read for LibriVox.org by Linda Marie Nielsen, Vancouver, B.C. Sweet little bird in russet coat, delivery of the closing year. I love thy lonely plaintive note, and tiny whispering song to hear, while on the stile or garden seat I sit to watch the falling leaves. The song thy little joys repeat my loneliness relieves. And many are the lonely minds that hear and welcome thee anew, not taste alone, but humble hinds delight to praise and love thee too. The veriest clown beside his cart turns from his song with many a smile to see thee from the hedgerow start to sing upon the stile. The shepherd on the fallen tree drops down to listen to thy lay, and childs his dog beside his knee, who barks and frightens thee away. The hedger pauses ere he knocks the stake down in the meadow gap. The boy who every songster mocks forbears the gate to clap. When in the hedge that hides the post thy ruddy bosom he surveys, pleased with thy song in transport lost, he pausing mutters scraps of praise. The maiden marks, at day's decline, thee in the yard, on broken plough, and stops her song to listen thine, milking the brindled cow. Thy simple faith in man's esteem from every heart hath favour won. Dangers thee no danger seem, though seem to court them more than shun. The clown in winter takes his gun, the barn door flocking birds to slay, yet shouldst thou in the danger run, he turns the tube away. The gipsy boy who seeks in glee blackberries for a dainty meal, laughs loud on first beholding thee, when called so near his presence steal. He surely thinks thou know'st the call, and though his hunger ill can spare the fruit, he will not pluck it all, but leave some to thy share. Upon the ditcher's spade thou ill hop, for grubs and wreathing worms to search, where woodmen in the forest chop, though it fearless on their faggots perch. Nay, by the gipsies' camp I stop, and mark thee dwell a moment there, to prune thy wing a while, then drop the littered crumbs to share. Domestic bird, thy pleasant face doth well thy common suit command. To meet thee in a stranger place is meeting with an ancient friend. I track the thicket's glooms around, and there, as loth to leave, again thou comest, as if thou knew the sound, and loved the sight of men. The loneliest wood that man can trace to thee a pleasant dwelling gives. In every town a crowded place the sweet domestic robin lives. Go where one will, in every spot thy little welcome mates appear, and like the daisy's common lot thou'rt met with everywhere. The swallow in the chimney tier, or twittering martin in the caves, with half of love and half of fear his mortared dwelling shyly weaves. The sparrows in the thatch will shield, yet they, as well as e'er they can, contrive with doubtful faith to build beyond the reach of man. But thou'rt less timid than the wren, domestic and confiding bird, and spots, the nearest haunts of men, are often for thy home preferred. In garden walls, though it build so low, close where the bunch of fennel stands, that e'en a child just taught to go may reach with tiny hands. Sweet favoured bird, thy under notes in summer's music grow unknown. Thy concert from 1,000 throats Leaves thee as if to pipe alone. No listening ear the shepherd lends, The simple ploughman marks thee not, And then by all thy autumn friends Thou art missing and forgot. The far famed Nightingale, that shares Cold public praise from every tongue, The popular voice of music airs, And injures much thy under song. Yet then my walks thy theme salutes, I find thee autumn's favoured guest, Gay piping on the hazelled roots Above thy mossy nest. 'Tis wrong that thou shouldst be despised When these gay fickle birds appear, They sing when summer flowers are prized, Though at the dull and dying year. Well! let the heedless and the gay Be praised the voice of louder lays, The joy thou steal'st from sorrow's day Is more to thee than praise. And could my notes win aught from thine, My words but imitate thy lay, Time could not then his charge resign, Nor throw the meanest verse away, But ever at this mellow time He should thy autumn praise prolong, As they would share the happy prime Of thy eternal song. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
A Spring Morning by John Clare. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce-Kachuk. The spring comes in with all her hues and smells, In freshness breathing over hills and dells, O'er woods where May her gorgeous drapery flings, And meads washed fragrant by their laughing springs. Fresh are new opened flowers, untouched and free From the bold riffling of the amorous bee. The happy time of singing birds is come, And love's lone pilgrimage now finds a home. Among the mossy oaks now coos the dove, And the hoarse crow finds softer notes for love. The foxes play around their dens, And bark in joy's excess 'mid woodland shadows dark. The flowers join lips below, the leaves above, And every sound that meets the ear is love. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Crabtree by John Clare. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce-Kachuk. Spring comes anew, and brings each little pledge That still, as wont, my childish heart deceives. I stoop again for violets in the hedge, Among the ivy and old withered leaves, And often mark amid the clumps of sedge The pooty shells I gathered when a boy. But cares have claimed me many an evil day, And chilled the relish which I had for joy. Yet when crab blossoms blush among the may, As erst in years gone by, I scramble now up 'mid the bramble for my old esteems, Filling my hands with many a blooming bough, Till the heart-stirring past as present seems, Save the bright sunshine of those fairy dreams. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Winter by John Clare. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce-Kachuk. Old January, clad in crispy rime, comes limping on, and often makes a stand. The hasty snowstorm ne'er disturbs his time. He mends no pace, but beats his dithering hand. And February, like a timid maid, smiling and sorrowing, follows in his train. Huddled in cloak, of miry roads afraid, she hastens on to meet her home again. Then March, the prophetess, by storms inspired, gazes in rapture on the troubled sky, and now in headlong fury, madly fired, she bids the hailstorm boil and hurry by. Yet 'neath the blackest cloud a sunbeam flings its cheering promise of returning springs. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Old Poesy by John Clare. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. Sweet is the poesy of the olden time, in the unsullied infancy of rhyme, when nature reigned omnipotent to teach, and truth and feeling owned the powers of speech. Rich is the music of each early theme, and sweet as sunshine in a summer dream, giving to stocks and stones, in rapture's strife, a soul of utterance and a tongue of life. Sweet are these wild flowers in their disarray, which art and fashion fling as weeds away, to sport with shadows of inferior kind, mere magic lanthorns of the shifting mind, automatons of wonder-working powers, shadows of life and artificial flowers. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
"'Tis Spring, my love, 'tis Spring," by John Clare. Read for LibriVox.org by Linda Marie Nielsen, Vancouver, B.C. 'Tis spring, my love, 'tis spring, and the birds begin to sing. If 'twas winter left alone with you, your bonny form and face would make a summer place, and be the finest flower that ever grew. 'Tis spring, my love, 'tis spring, and the hazel catkins hing, while the snowdrop has its little blebs of dew, but that's not so white within, and your bosom's hidden skin, that sweetest of all flowers that ever grew. The sun arose from bed, all strewn with roses red, but the brightest and the loveliest crimson place is not so fresh and fair, or so sweet beyond compare, as thy blushing, ever smiling, happy face. I love spring's early flowers, and their bloom in its first hours, but they never half so bright or lovely seem as the blithe and happy grace of my darling's blushing face, and the happiness of love's young dream. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Graves of Infants by John Clare. Read for LibriVox.org by Linda Marie Nielsen, Vancouver, B.C. Infants' grave mounds are steps of angels where earth's brightest gems of innocence repose. God is their parent, so they need no tear. He takes them to his bosom from earth's woes. A bud their lifetime and a flower
their clothes. Their spirits are the iris of the skies, needing no prayers, a sunset's happy close. Gone are the bright rays of their soft blue eyes. Flowers weep in dewdrops o'er them, and the gale gently sighs. Their lives were nothing but a sunny shower, melting on flowers as tears melt from the eye. Each death was told on flowers as summer gales went by. They bowed and trembled, yet they heaved no sigh. And the sun smiled to show the end was well. Infants have not to weep for ere they die. All prayers are needless, beads they need not tell. White flowers their mourners are, nature their passing bell. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Home Yearnings by John Clare. Read for LibriVox.org by Kathleen. For that sweet, untroubled rest that poets oft have sung, the babe upon its mother's breast, the bird upon its young, the heart asleep without a pain. When shall I know that sleep again? When shall I be as I have been upon my mother's breast? Sweet nature's garb of verdant green to woo to perfect rest. Love in the meadow, field, and glen, and in my native wilds again. The sheep within the fallow field, the herd upon the green, the larks that in the thistle shield, and pipe from morn to e'en. Oh, for the pasture, fields, and fen! When shall I see such rest again? I love the weeds along the fen, more sweet than garden flowers, for freedom haunts the humble glen that blessed my happiest hours. Here prison injures health and me. I love sweet freedom and the free. The crows upon the swelling hills, the cows upon the lea, sheep feeding by the pasture rills, are ever dear to me, because sweet freedom is their mate, while I am alone and desolate. I loved the winds when I was young, when life was dear to me. I love the song which nature sung, endearing liberty. I love the wood, the vale, the stream, for there my boyhood used to dream. There even toil itself was play. 'Twas pleasure e'en to weep. 'Twas joy to think of dreams by day, the beautiful of sleep. When shall I see the wood and plain, and dream those happy dreams again? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Love Lives Beyond the Tomb by John Clare. Read for LibriVox.org by Kathleen. Love lives beyond the tomb, and earth, which fades like dew. I love the fond, the faithful, and the true. Love lives in sleep, 'tis happiness of healthy dreams. Eve's dews may weep, but love delightful seems. 'Tis seen in flowers, and in the morning's pearly dew, in earth's green hours, and in the heaven's eternal blue. 'Tis heard in spring, when light and sunbeams, warm and kind, on angels' wings bring love and music to the mind. And where's the voice, so young, so beautiful, and sweet as nature's choice, where spring and lovers meet? Love lives beyond the tomb, and earth, which fades like dew. I love the fond, the faithful, and the true. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. My Early Home by John Clare. Read for LibriVox.org by Kathleen. Here sparrows build upon the trees, and stock dove hides her nest. The leaves are winnowed by the breeze into a calmer rest. The blackcap's song was very sweet, that used the rose to kiss. It made the paradise complete. My early home was this. The red breast from the sweet briar bush dropped down to pick the worm. On the horse chestnut sang the thrush. O'er the house where I was born, the moonlight like a shower of pearls fell o'er this bower of bliss, and on the bench sat boys and girls. My early home was this. The old house stooped just like a cave, thatched o'er with mosses green. Winter around the walls would rave, but all was calm within. The trees are here all green again. Here bees the flowers still kiss, but flowers and trees seem sweeter then. My early home was this. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Telltale Flowers by John Clare. Read for LibriVox.org by Kathleen. And has the spring's all glorious eye no lesson to the mind? The birds that cleave the golden sky, things to the earth resigned, wild flowers that dance to every wind, do they no memory leave behind? Aye, flowers, the very name of flowers, that bloom in wood and glen, brings spring to me in winter's hours, and childhood's dreams again. The primrose on the woodland lea was more than gold and lands to me. The violets by the woodland side are thick as they could thrive. I've talked to them with childish pride as things that were alive. I find them now in my distress. They seem as sweet yet valueless. The cowslips on the meadow lea, how have I run for them? I looked with wild and childish glee upon each golden gem, and when they bowed their heads so shy I laughed, and thought they danced for joy. And when a man, in early years, how sweet they used to come, and give me tales of smiles and tears, and thoughts more dear than home. Secrets which words would then reprove, they told the names of early love. The primrose turned a babbling flower within its sweet recess. I blushed to see its secret bower, and turned her name to bless. The violet said the eyes were blue I loved, and did they tell me true? The cowslips, blooming everywhere, my heart's own thoughts could steal. I nipped them that they should not hear. They smiled, and would reveal. And o'er each meadow, right or wrong, they sing the name I've worshipped long. The brook that mirrored clear the sky, full well I know the spot. The mouse ear looked with bright blue eye, and said forget me not. And from the brook I turned away, but heard it many an after day. The kingcup on its slender stalk, within the pasture dell, would picture there a pleasant walk with one I love so well. It said how sweet at eventide 'twould be, with true love at thy side. And on the pasture's woody knoll I saw the wild bluebell, on Sundays, where I used to stroll with her I loved so well. She called the flowers the year before, these bowed and told the story o'er. And every flower that had a name would tell me who was fair. But those without, as strangers, came and blossomed silent there. I stood to hear, but all alone. They bloomed and kept their thoughts unknown. But seasons now have naught to say, the flowers no news to bring. Alone I live from day to day. Flowers deck the bier of spring, and birds upon the bush or tree all sing a different tale to me. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
To John Milton by John Clare. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. Poet of mighty power, I fain would court the muse that honored thee, and, like Elisha's spirit, gain a part of thy intensity, and share the mantle which she flung around thee when thy lyre was strung. Though faction's scorn at first did shun with coldness thy inspired song, though clouds of malice passed thy sun, they could not hide it long. Its brightness soon exhaled away dark night, and gained eternal day. The critic's wrath did darkly frown upon thy muse's mighty lay, but blasts that break the blossom down do only stir the bay, and thine shall flourish green and long in the eternity of song. Thy genius saw in quiet mood Gilt fashion's follies pass thee by, And, like the monarch of the wood, Towered o'er it to the sky, Where thou couldst sing of other spheres, And feel the fame of future years. Though bitter sneers and stinging scorns Did throng the Muses' dangerous way, Thy powers were past such little thorns, They gave thee no dismay. The scoffer's insult passed thee by, Thou smil'st, and mad'st him no reply. Envy will gnaw its heart away To see thy genius gather root, And as its flowers their sweets display, Scorn's malice shall be mute. Hornets that summer warmed to fly Shall, at the death of summer, die. Though friendly praise hath but its hour, And little praise with thee hath been, The bay may lose its summer flower, But still its leaves are green; And thine, whose buds are on the shoot, Shall only fade to change to fruit. Fame lives not in the breath of words, In public praises hue and cry. The music of these summer birds Is silent in a winter sky. When thine shall live and flourish on O'er wrecks where crowds of fames are gone, The ivy shuns the city wall When busy, clamorous crowds intrude, And climbs the desolated hall In silent solitude. The time-worn arch, the fallen dome, Are roots for its eternal home. The bard his glory ne'er receives Where summer's common flowers are seen, But winter finds it when she leaves The laurel only green. And time from that eternal tree Shall weave a wreath to honor thee. Naught but thy ashes shall expire, Thy genius at thy obsequies Shall kindle up its living fire, And light the Muses' skies. Aye, it shall rise and shine and be A sun in song's posterity. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
I Am, Yet What I Am by John Clare. Read for LibriVox.org by Tony Addison. I am, yet what I am, who cares or knows? My friends forsake me like a memory lost. I am the self-consumer of my woes. They rise and vanish, an oblivious host, shadows of life whose very soul is lost. And yet I am, I live, though I am tossed into the nothingness of scorn and noise, into the living sea of waking dreams, where there is neither sense of life nor joys, but the huge shipwreck of my own esteem, and all that's dear, even those I loved the best, are strange, nay, they are stranger than the rest. I long for scenes where man has never trod, for scenes where woman never smiled or wept, there to abide with my Creator God, and sleep as I in childhood sweetly slept, full of high thoughts unborn. So let me lie, the grass below, above the vaulted sky. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. End of Poems by John Clare.